Hello, this is Running Robert, and today we're going to be talking about the Assertio Holdings ASRT First Quarter 2025 Summary. Today is the 2nd of June 2025, and I am a little behind in getting this update up there, but we're going to be covering the quarterly report and kind of looking at where the company can go from here. So his disclaimer is I did buy the stock a little under $1.10, sold it for a slight loss at 90. I did not like the sales pretty much, and that made me decide to sell, which at the moment looks like a great idea. Maybe not so much later. I'm an amateur investor, and any advice given should be followed by your own due diligence, and any information given is valid for today, the 2nd of June, and the slideshow will not be updated, but as we get new news, new quarterly reports, new slideshows. So let's just get right into the report. So net product sales were 26 million. That is down from 32 in quarter 4, 2025. The net loss was 13.2 million, but most of that was the amortization of intangible assets. That is a paper exercise. So that 9 million doesn't really count towards the net loss. End of quarter cash was 87.3 million. That's down from 100 million. However, they did have 96.7 million at the end of April. So they got paid between the end of the quarter and the end of April. Pretty nice. So about the same amount of money as they had at the end of the fourth quarter. 40 million in debt, but not due till September 2027. That is something that we just have to keep in the back of our minds, but it has no impact at the moment of the company. And then Rolvedon sales, they dropped from 15.4 down to 13.1 million. Indocin sales were unchanged at 5.5 million, and Sympazan sales were down a little bit at 2.2 million, and that's down from 2.5. So when you're looking at the 2025 forecast, after the first quarter, they believe they can hit this 108 to 123 million, which is definitely down from the 124 million in 2024, but it could be close. If they can get 120, 121, that would show us that they're on the right track. And then we look at the total costs for 2024. So 150 million was their total operating expenses and everything like that. However, 30 million of that was more for the amortization and the loss of assets. So we're saying that the total expenses, total cash they need is 120 million. So again, if they can hit the top part of that forecast, they're in pretty good shape. And having almost, 100 million in the bank, even if they maybe are in the 115 and they lose a little bit, they still have a chance to recover. So Rolvedon. So sales were impacted in the first quarter because of extra stocking and volume expansion at the end of the fourth quarter. The company expects to see growth in quarter 2 based on the new customers and extended payer coverage. And this is the growth part of the stock. This is what we need to succeed, to be successful. If it's unable to build anything, any meaningful momentum, the company's done. It's just not, this is their main product. They need to sell it. End of story. Indocin sales were steady. Now, they do suffer from having a generic on the market. Indocin, before the generic, was about a $100 million a year drug. Now it's sitting at $5 million-ish a quarter. It's a $21 million drug, which is pretty rough. There might be more pain because there's a chance of 2 other generics coming to the market. The problem is, the total amount of pain can only be about another 5.5 million. So we do have a pretty small gap in that, which is very positive. And then Sympazan. So the company is trying to market this effectively, but really it does not have anything to show for it. I mean, it's 2.2 million. It's just not working out. The company hopes to see a positive trend, but starting as how much they low, I maybe could see if we're looking at the rosy world, they cover the Indocin loss. Done. It gets up to 5 or 6 million, covers most of that 5.5 that they're going to lose when Indocin just gets completely rampaged by all the generics. And it's kind of like a break-even formula, and we like that. Hard to put much more into it. So obviously, if this becomes a lot more positive, we're in good shape. But at the moment, keeping my hopes down. So the company believes they have stabilized for now, and that's, of course, having your main product go generic. Does that to any company. And they expect to see growth in 2026. So 2025 is going to be kind of the neutral year. We're going to see what we can do. As with most stocks, there could be issues from tariff, regulatory changes, and drug pricing. I can't really say much more about this. It's pretty much what is the whim of Trump. And if there's tariffs, if there's some kind of changes in the FDA or more changes, and then of course, like what we're talking about, the lowest price and stuff like that Trump rolled out, if that comes into effect, it might have a serious impact. Excuse me. So, what are we looking for? So, what are my overall thoughts? We're looking for better sales. Simple enough. So, the market cap of 63 million is what keeps me in the stock. Any major sales or changes in the company could elevate the stock. We have almost 100 million in cash end of April. Company's only worth 63 million. You see kind of why I stick in that. And if we can see that change in growth, we can see it kind of get up there. This used to be a $5, $6, $7 stock. I believe it can make that again. But we need to see the sales. So the company has plenty of cash, even with the 40 million due in 2027. So is there a chance we could see reversal in stock? Yes, which is why I keep watching it and keep covering it. So hopefully this gives you some good information. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day.